Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So we've got a puzzle here that looks fairly interesting. This is by Chefofdeath, who I don't think I've ever heard of, or I've not seen one of their puzzles before. But it's my understanding that they've kind of stepped away from puzzle creation, puzzle solving because of things going on in life, which happens to all of us. But they popped in to do this one, and it's very highly rated, and it's gotten quite a few solves. Go away, phone. So I figured I'd give it a try. It looks like it's going to be nothing crazy. It's called Just Another Pure Killer, and you can see it has all killer clues, or killer cages clues. So let's just take a look at those rules, get into this thing, and just have a little bit of fun. Doesn't have to be complicated today. So, Chefofdeath, let's look at your puzzle. Normal Sudoku rules: every row, column, and 3x3 box will contain the digits 1 through 9 once each. And then we have killer cages, so digits in a cage sum to the given total. Digits do not repeat within a cage. These 3 out of 10, these to 7, these to 13, etc., etc. That's it. So no need to faff about and just babble on about things. Those are the rules. Links in the description below. Let's get at it. All right, let's think about basics. We got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. We're going to start seeing some X-wings that we can work with, but let's just see if we have anything else. There is a 9 in this 22 cage. I think that's going to be the end of the line. So let's start thinking about X-wings. One of these is a 1. One of these is a 1. We also can put a 2 down here because we have an X-wing on 2s, and we can put a 2 in here because we have an X-wing of 2s looking this way. So we have that to go on. Now, what can we determine from any of this information that we just found? It's a good question. Let's think. We do have some given 7s. I wonder if they correlate. They do. This is a 7. One of these will be a 7. Now this could, no, it can't be a 7, since we figured out this was the 1s and 2s go over here. The only way this could be a 7 if this was a 1-2 pair, but that breaks. What else? Now we don't know if there's a 7 in this 22 cage or not, so we can't put another 7 in the corner. Is there anything else? Well, similar to what we did over here, same thing here. There's a 7 in one of these two. It can't be here because we can't do a 1-2. All right. So, is there any other reductions on those 7s that we can work with? Now, if we put a 7 in this cage, it's 9, 6, 7. That's perfectly fine. We can't rule out a 7 from the 9 cage. Oh yeah, we can, because we can't repeat the digits. So if there was 7, we'd have to have 2 1s. We can't do that. But we can't rule out them from anywhere else, really. So that's not really getting us going. What else do we want to say? Do we have any math, like base math, we could start looking at in some of these areas? It doesn't really look like it, does it? Not really. Let's start to think about what the minimums were or are for the 10 cages, because they're looking into the 7 cage. We don't have to have a 1 in them. And I think, yeah, one of them cannot have a 1 on them. But they can't both not have a 1. If that makes sense. Because let's say this didn't have a 1 on it. Well, the only way to make a 10 in 3 digits without using a 1 is 2, 3, 5. Well, we can't make both of these 2, 3, 5s. Because we can't ever put a 2 in here. So one of these is going to have a 1, which means this isn't a 1, because whichever one is sees that one. The other one is going to have a 2, 3, 5, because we can't have both of these have 1s. Well, if one of these has a 2, 3, 5, this is a 4. 4, not 5. Thank you. So, we know one of them's a 2, 3, 5. Can we say anything else about the other one? Because it has a 1 on it. We know that. But it can't be a 1-2 pair, because we would break either one of those two cells. It also doesn't have a 4 on it. So we could do 1, 3, 6. That would be possible. What else? Is that the only possibility? We have to have a 1 on it. We won't be able to have a 1 and a 2, and we can't use a 4. So 1, 3, 6 would work. And nothing else works. Yeah, that's interesting. These are a 1, 3, 6, 2, 3, 5. Those are the options. I don't know how useful that is, other than the fact that these, okay, well, none of these are 1s or 2s. I think it's going to force these to be 1s and 2s. Right, because you said 1, 3, 6, or 2, 3, 5, yeah. So these are a 1 and a 2 to go with our 1s and 2s, so we get these 1s and 2s kind of looking across. Now let's see what we can do with those, because that forces a bare minimum here of a, well, not a 3, 5, and not a 3, 6. The minimum we can ever do is a 3, 7. Interestingly enough, about how these all work together. Because we can't use 1, 2, or 4. So we can use a 3. We can't use the 3 with the 5 or a 6 because it'll break this. So 3, 7 is the bare minimum. That doesn't work, obviously, because a 3 and a 7 would have to have another 3 on it. We can't ever go up to a... Can we go to a 5, 7? We could, actually. It could be a 5, 7 with the 1. What are the other options? Because if we don't do 3, 7, we'd have to go up to 3, 8. And that gets us up to 11, so this would be a 2. It looks like those are our options here. Now, it doesn't necessarily tell us what these are, though. Yeah, because it's one of these will be a 9. The other one will be whatever's left over from whatever this grouping becomes. Now, can we do something? Oh, I just thought I heard my wife feeding the dog. I was like, why is she feeding the dog? It's so early. It's not early. I didn't realize it was already 5 o'clock. Anywho, can we do the same thing down here? Or... I was going to say, we don't really have an X-wing here because we don't have to have the 1 or the 2 yet. Okay. What about you guys? Again, it's going to be a similar concept. We can't have a 1, 2, or a 4. The bare minimum we can do is a 3, 7. That would work if we put a 4 here. We could get a 3. Oh, we can't do 3, 8 because it would force a 3 here. 3, 9 would give us a 2. And then if we skip the 3 altogether, we'll put the 9 in because that was an option. If we skip the 3 altogether, we're at a minimum 5, 7. Because again, we can't do 5, 6. So it would be at 12, so this would be a 2. Or we could do 5, 8, with the 1. We can't skip the, well, I guess we could skip the 5 entirely. And this be a 6, 7 with a 1. Okay, that's a little more squirrely than I thought it was going to be. 1, 2, 3, 4. Guess we know this isn't a 3, and this isn't a 3. Now, was there a 3 on both of these? What did we say the numbers were? 1, 3, 6, or 2, 3, 5. Yes, there's always a 3, so these are both 3s. Should have seen that one right off the bat. These are not 3s. Well, seeing the 1, 2, 3, 4, removing the 3 helped. So these are not 3s, and these are not 3s. That's going to change what our options were now. Because now we can't put 3, so our bare minimum again is now 5, 7. That is 12, which means that's what this one is. That forces this to be a 6. We are at 9, this has to be the 1. This has to be a 2, 5. Good. These are not 1s. That 1 says that's 2 and 1. We can probably look at this guy, but let's take a quick gander here. These are 8 and 9. We'll just put those in. Let's look now back down here. So the bare minimum we have here is 6 and 7, which is 13, which it has to be with a 1. And this is no longer a 1. And that's no longer a 1. We've got okay, let's look at the 3s, because we have 3s and none of these. So one of these is. Same thing's going to be happening this way. So this one is the 3 to be able to satisfy both of these guys having a 3. Can we now reduce these guys in any meaningful way? Because if this is a 3, we have 8 left over. If we were to put a 1 here, that would force a 7. That doesn't work. So this is 1. If we put a 2 here, this would be a 6. That would work. But we don't know that this is a 2, per se. What about you? What can you be? 4 or 6, because we can't go up to 8 or 9, because we'd already be at the 11. So 7, we'd have to add, well, we couldn't do that, because this would be 4, 3, and this would have to be another 4. So this is a 6. That's 9. That's a 2. Okay, we got there. What else? 1, 2, 3. One of these will be a 4 because of the row. We need 4, 5, 8, and 9, and those aren't really useful at the moment. So let's maybe do a quick look and see how we're affecting some other areas. Oh, we did the 3s looking this way. Let's do the 1s looking this way. One of these will be a 1. That one's the 1. Same concept as this 3 up here. Now that 1 isn't inside of our cages, though. Does that do anything more with our 1s, though? I don't think it does yet. Just we have a grouping of possible 1s that are occurring. Okay, let's think along another route. Maybe there is something a little bit more in some of these that we just didn't see. 5s, no. Not necessarily expecting. We know one of these is a 6. Let's do that. Which means one of these is. Is there any more with those 7s? Probably not. What are these two? 8 and 9 again. So we do get an 8-9 pair in here. One of these will be a 6. 3s we don't know. 5s we don't know. 7s we can't really say. And the 8 and the 9. Okay. we're going to have to get down into these guys and figure out what they are. So let's think about it. The 9 can't have a 1 in it, so it has to be a 2, 3, 4, because we have 1s here. So this is 2. This is a 3, 4 pair. That means that one of these is a 4. What else does it say? Booba-dooba-doo. Anything on these guys? I don't think there is. Oh, there is. Where does the 2 go? It has to go here. These will be 5, 8s, and 9s, and those will not necessarily get us anywhere just yet. The 2 here, though, does say these are not 2, so we get 1, 3, 2. This is then a 2. These are not. These are not 2s, so this is, and 1, and 3, and 4, 1, and we got things moved all around now, so good. That 4 says this is a 4. And we can probably, yeah, go further. 4 and 3. Now, do a quick look at our Sudoku, because I think we have all the 1s. We have all the 2s. Can we do anything with those 3s? One of these is a 3. And we have a couple of other spots where 3s could go. But it's not going to be too useful. What about those 4s? Don't think so. 5s, 6s, 7s, 8, 9. No, okay. So let's look somewhere else. Let's think. We haven't finished the 22 cage. This can't be a 3. That's the obvious thing. Because if it was, these 2 digits would have to add up to 19. No bueno. This is 3. One of these will be a 3. So let's continue that. And we said one of these is 3. That's the final X-wing on the 3s. Okay, let's think further. Well, maybe let's think further on the 22. I don't know that we still have this low enough to really work with it. Yeah, we can't put a 4 on here either, because it would have to be 18 left over, so it would be 9, 9 to go with that 4. So one of these will be a 4. Wait. No, one of these 3. Just means that at the end of the day, we'll have an X-wing on 4s, so one of these will be a 4. Maybe this 12 is more useful, because we can start to think about bare minimums of some of these cells, and that might start pushing on the other ones. 4, nope, can't be 5, 6, 8, or 9. We're never going to be able to put a 9 on this thing, because we'd have to put, well, we'd have to put a 1, 2, but we can't, so we can get rid of that. What about that 8? Because that pushes a 1, it pushes a 4 left over, but it would have to be a 1, 3. We can't put a 1 in either one, so no 8. So we're down to 4 or 6. Now, can we pull anything out with that? Because let's say this was a 6. These have to add to 6. How can we make that happen without using a 1 or a 2? You can't. Because the bare minimum we can do would be 3, 4. That ain't 6. This is 4. Now, does that finalize our 4s? That's a 4. No, because we still have that X-wing. Okay, let's think about this as the 4 now, because these have to add to 8. So how do we make that happen? Because we can't use 7, 1 or 6, 2 again because of the 1s and 2s. So 5, 3 is the only way it works. This is 3, this is 5. That gives us the 7 and 5. This is not 3. This is not 3, so this is, and that should be all the 3s. Okay. 4s, I said we had an X-Wing left over. 1s are done. 2s are done. Okay. These guys. 6, 8, and 9. We get a 6, 8, 9 triple, so this is not a 6, which means this is. Good. Which means these have to be 5 and 7. We don't actually have anything saying that that won't work. Okay. Anything across this board? This is either 5 or 7. 5, 8, 9. Not really. Are we pushing this guy even further now? We have to be, right? Because we can't use 1, 2, 3, or 5. We said we can't put a 4 on this thing. So the bare minimum we can put is 6 and 7, which is 13. That's what it has to be. 9, 6, 7 adds up to 22. These are not 7s, so this is 6, 7. That pushes the 9, 6. Perfect. This is not 9. These are a 5, 8 pair. Again, not quite sorted, but that's okay. What are you two? 4 and 8. That will tell us that this is the 4. And this has to be the 4, so that breaks the 8 for stalemate. This is not 8. This is not 6. This is. This one is just 5 or 9. Don't have anything there. This is 5, 8, 9. Can't be 5. Okay. We're in Sudoku territory now, so let's just do that. These are 6 and 9. We can do that. So we get 9, 6. That tells us this is a 6. These are 5 and 8. We can do that. That's going to tell us the 9, 6, 8, 9, 8, 5, 9, 8, 7, 5. This then becomes a 7. This is a given 8. This is a given 9. This is a given 9. These guys, oh wait, let's just do this one. This becomes 7. This is 9, 5, 8. This is a given of 5. And these two have to be what? 8 and 9. So this is 8, 9. And these two are also now what? 5 and 8. There we go. We solved the puzzle. Solution is correct. Yeah, so like almost 800 solves in 6 days. So just a fun, approachable puzzle by Chefofdeath. And thank you for making this, taking some time out of your day to get away from other things that may be going on just to do this. So we always appreciate anybody who sets puzzles because it lets us solve them. And that's makes fun in our day. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed this one. I certainly did. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.